Showtime, Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. All right. So, wish we could do something with that light. It's always so freaking crazy. But the thing is, this virus we got going on. You know, there's some good news with the whole thing, right? They may be onto a vaccine or two, right? And it could be hearsay, right? But you know, any kind of progress, or positive potential, potentially good things, are a good thing, right? So here's the deal: there's already a malaria pill out that supposedly Israel's just got a shitload of it. Will supposedly be the number one supplier of it if it ends up, working out. We really don't know if it's going to work or not, right? There's rumors that there's allegedly a guy was sick with this virus, right, the coronavirus, and he took these malaria pills, right, to help you fight malaria or get rid of malaria if you have it. So he got better, okay? That means that there is a potential, right, that this might work for other people. Now, was it coincidence? Was he just a miracle guy that freaking recovered really fast? Who the fuck knows? So obviously more research needs to be done. I'm sure there's probably plenty of people who will sign their life away to be an experiment for it, right? To be a guinea pig. So there's probably going to be some good data on this. I'm hoping. So this. And I've heard this from two different sources. Okay, I had a buddy tell me about this. Okay, and then I also had and then also was on Joe Rogan's podcast as well. Okay, he brought that up. So I've heard it from two different sources already. Now, as far as other pills or injections or whatever, there's supposedly at least one that might work. Again, it's just so new, right? There's rumors that this could be, in the beginning it just sounded like, okay, mostly just old people get it, and usually the younger people. The survival rate is definitely high. We know that. Okay, that's a good thing. I like that. It sucks to have anybody who doesn't make it. Don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, with the flu, a lot of people don't make it. Okay. My grandpa is over 100 years old, right? If we have a sneeze, a cough, if we have a sore throat, if we have anything, we stay clear, right? Because he gets even one little flu, he could be gone. We want him around, right? Shoot, just a couple years ago, he's still driving his Mustang, okay, his convertible Mustang himself. Not somebody else driving him. He was driving it. Finally, they were like, "All right, Grandpa, you need to stop," But I've been driving well, okay, and actually, when he hung it up, he had already, when they were saying that, he had already decided to hang it up anyways. They didn't need to tell him shit. He's a smart guy. He knows his body. He knows his mind. He knows. He's still sharp and with it. He can't, if you just talk to him on the phone, you can't tell him he's 102 years old, and if you see him, you wouldn't guess he's 102 years old. You can tell he's older, but, he gets up, boom, he pops right up. He pops up faster than my dad does. He pops up faster than I do on some days, okay? And, he's just, he's a hardcore guy. Anyways, the virus, hopefully will be under control soon. I never want to give up hope, especially now. I mean, this is so early in the game, you shouldn't be burned out or freaked out yet. Here I am talking like this when, I was freaked out on like day 1 or 2, right? It's because I always think best and worst case scenario with everything, right? So I start to get my mind right. So people that think, oh, he's crazy, he's gonna bring everybody down and this and that. No, once I'm on board, I'm more in the zone, It's actually better this way. You expect the worst and the best things happen, right? Everybody else comes in all positive and whoop-de-doo, right? And freaking skip-de-doo and, fluff and puff and all this stuff. And then, oh, negative Nancy, look at this person's negative. And, until things start to hit, right? People who've never been homeless before. People who've never struggled with money before. People who have never been sick before. Have never been through much adversity before, okay? And are all fluff and puff. And they're the ones going, da, da, da. I hope they're careful because, a lot of times they're the ones to freak out when the going gets tough, and then they're the ones that put it on here. Oh, I don't know if I can take it anymore and stuff. And, it's not an easy time, and bad things might possibly happen, right? Being stressed out and freaked out enough on day one to try to freaking hoard all the toilet paper and fight over it is pretty fucking bullshit and pretty weak. But and that's why I worry about this country if the freaking government ever decides to take us over, right? Everybody talks about a big game on how they're going to stand back up to the government, and they can't even freaking, they can't even live without toilet paper. We're hurting, right? And it's got some weak people, and it's not going to be fun if the government decides to go corrupt on us. Right now, everything's great, right? The government's been great, take care of us and everything. I think that's awesome, but the Constitution's set in place that they try to, become communist or something. We can be in for some trouble, right? And so we need to be able to stand up for our rights, because there should be enough people in government to still take our side, right? So that it stays the way our forefathers wanted it to be. But that's basically what I wanted to say, not that tangent on, the government stuff. I've got no problem with the government as of yet. Like I said, they've fucking taken care of me for years, right? But being in the military and all that stuff, there's a reason for that. I fought for, I didn't do any wars or anything. I'm not some big decorated war hero. I'm not trying to take freaking accolades or credit for that, right? I was just a grunt. But, but the reason I joined and stuff was, well, number one, to get a couple more years to put size and strength and muscle on for football, but and to get the GI Bill, But my number one reason was going in for serve my country, In fact, the only reason I flipped over to the Navy instead of the Marines was because of those reasons, GI Bill and football. I really wanted to go into the military because I wanted to be a fucking Marine, right? But I didn't want to do 3 or 4 years, right? So they got rid of that 2-year program eventually for the Navy, the Air Sea Fireman program, because finally you get these knucklehead kids squared away. You make them in. They're productive. They're contributing. They're a good part of your freaking crew. And then, when you could have got at least 2 really good years out of them, or more if they re-up, right? They go, oh, my 2 years are out. They're just barely adapting, so they're just, boom, they're out the door, right? And so maybe stay another 2 years. You might get them for another 5, 10, 20, right? And then get retirement and 2 checks instead of 1, and pretty neat stuff. But anyhow, I'm going to move away from that once more time and wrap this up, because I just got to make sure I said everything I was going to say about the virus. Yes, and I'm praying, just like everybody else is, that we wrap this up and get enough under wraps, and after 2 weeks, we're good to go, right? And I wasn't being a baby about it, saying this sucked it. It's because this might be as long as 6 months to a year, right? So I had to prepare myself mentally. It's not the if, but when things happen. And you always want to do that, because if you don't, and shit starts happening, variables start popping up, you're going to go, oh, well, how do I react to this? And you can't, because you haven't prepped for it, right? So that's my point, make sure you really think things through. And again, like I said, it would be nice to have a type of a vote on this, just to feel like, we had rights to this. I'm not saying anything about the decision being wrong to quarantine us. It was probably a really good idea, right? I probably would have voted for it, okay? But point is, I didn't get to vote. You guys didn't get to vote. And it had to be an emergency vote. We can't fucking, in 30 days we're going to do a ballot. Well, everybody's got the fucking virus now, right? It had to be an emergency. You got to vote within 12 to 24 hours. If you can't make it to the vote, you're shit out of luck. Your vote doesn't count, right? Fair enough, okay? At least you got a chance. But to my opinion, all this is doing is just giving the government huge power. That means they can do what they want, when they want, how they want. And that's really scary if you don't want a dictatorship or a communist country, right? Dictatorship can work if you got a great leader. You know, it might work with Trump, but it ain't gonna work with other ones. You know, they're just gonna, no, let's just torture these people just because they were talking shit about me, right? And there's a lot of leaders that'll do that. You know, you watch some really good family guys and really good successful businessmen like Al Capone and, you know, John Gotti and things like that. You know, people get whacked. You know, even for snitching, right? It's a big deal. You don't. There's a reason you don't snitch. But you know, some people, even though they're really nice guys and good family loving people and everything else, you know, they will whack people for snitching, and it's like if that's all you get is a bullet to the back of the head, right? Sometimes they tie you up or chain you up and peel the skin back and everything else, right? Cartels even worse. They go after your family too. So not always as nice as the Italians are. So you gotta be quiet, okay? You do the crime, you do the time, right? Fair enough. So anyhow, it's been showtime with Showtime Shred Fins over here. Size, growth, whoosh. Get big, baby. And God willing, we'll be rid of this virus and back to normal in no time. Week or two tops, hopefully, right? Still expect the worst, be ready for the worst, but hope for the best. Take care and God bless.